So shrimp scampi. I'm going to use some shrimp. Frozen, still frozen straight out of the freezer. But it won't take long to defrost, so that's fine. A lot of parsley, a lot of garlic. Adequate amount of white wine. This is Chardonnay, but any type of dry white wine would do the trick. A lot of butter. Some white vinegar. I'm going to serve it with some fresh pasta. This is chitarra. It's basically spaghetti, but you know, kind of different. Okay, so these are frozen shrimp, and one quick way to defrost it is just to run them under cold water. I'm just gonna chop some parsley. And I like to use the whole thing. I don't like to throw away the stalks. So I'm gonna take the stalks, take off the very end bits. And just cut them up. And then for the leaves, same thing. I just want to run my knife through this stuff once. I don't want to bruise this the leaves too much. So yeah, just very roughly chop them once. Looks good. So that's that done. And now I'm gonna chop up some garlic. So, shrimp scampi involves a lot of garlic. And I'm gonna separate this stuff into two piles. I'm gonna save, let's say, 4 cloves. So these guys, and I'm gonna grate them into the shrimp. And then I'm gonna call this 4 more cloves, because these are small. But I'm gonna take these and chop them up. So what I have is the grated garlic kind of disappearing into the shrimp, and then these visible pieces scattered around the dish. Just gonna kind of roughly chop these. I don't want the garlic pieces to be too small, because garlic burns pretty easily. So it's gonna be this, and then I'm just gonna run my knife through the pile a couple more times. Okay, so that's sorted. That's pretty much all the chopping done. Okay, so defrosted shrimp. Now I'm gonna marinate the shrimp. Super quick marinade. Touch of salt. Touch of white vinegar. A tiny pinch of baking soda. According to Serious Eats, a pinch of baking soda is going to make the shrimp snappier, almost like crunchier. So I do it. And then finally, 4 healthy cloves of garlic. Now, just going to combine everything together. Smells super garlicky. And this is gonna sit for probably 10-15 minutes. All right, so the heat on, medium high. And I got some water boiling for the pasta. The first thing I'm going to do now is to cook the shrimp. Got the pan nice and hot. Going in with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Swirl that around. And now let's drop the shrimp. It's a very gentle heat. It's very easy to overcook shrimp, and I don't want that to happen. So just laying them out nice and flat. A bit too much garlic here. Looking good. I'm going to give the first side 45 seconds. Okay. Needs a little bit more olive oil. And then flip them and cook on the other side for about 30 seconds. I'm going to take them out. Meanwhile, getting ready to cook some pasta. Boiling water. Let that come up to a rapid boil. These guys are looking good. I'm not trying to cook the shrimp to 100% because they're gonna spend some more time when I put the sauce together and return them to the pan. So I'm just trying to par cook the shrimp now. And then some more salt. Just a little bit. And these guys are basically done. So I'm not going to just dump the shrimp out on the plate. Instead, I want to save the olive oil that's in the pan so that I don't have to add more oil. Okay, great. Good amount of olive oil in here. Now, chopped garlic going in. Heat goes back up, medium high. We'll just cook out the garlic a little bit. Maybe I need a touch more olive oil. Meanwhile, the water's boiling. Ooh, that's a hot plate. There we go. Boiling water, some salt. Now pasta goes in. This takes like 90 seconds to cook, so I have to work faster here. Garlic is sizzling. I really don't want much color on here because burnt garlic is not good. So, What I'm gonna do here is deglaze with some good old white wine. Splash in there. Drink the rest. Turn the heat all the way up. Let the alcohol evaporate. And then prepare some butter. About a tablespoon that's going in. And just trying to work the butter in the sauce. Meanwhile, let's try some pasta. That's about done. Heat off. Noodles going in. Turn the heat down to medium. Some more butter. About another tablespoon. Slide that right in there. Now shrimp goes back in. Beautiful. Sauce looking nice and creamy. A few pinches of salt. At this point, turn the heat off. In goes the parsley. Mix that around. And there you go, done. Now before anyone comes at me, yes, I'm using chopsticks to eat pasta. I mean, you can't go wrong with garlic and butter. Do you know what I mean? And some cheap wine that's been sitting out here for 30 minutes at room temperature. That's great. The pasta here really is just to soak up that butter garlic sauce. I mean, there really isn't much to say, except that this is delicious. I mean, pasta's cooked pretty well, al dente, and seasoned properly with that amount of salt that I put in the water. Shrimp is very snappy, sweet, savory, and then everything's garlicky, but not like punching your face garlicky, because there's no raw garlic in the finished dish. And butter is butter, so yeah. The most important thing about making this dish, in my opinion, is you know, when and how you add in the butter. I added the butter in 2 sittings, and you know, I vigorously shook the pan. I don't know language, man. But what you end up with is a nice emulsified sauce. Like it's creamy. It looks creamy. If you don't shake the pan vigorously, and your heat is on too high, then there's a chance that the fat and the liquid are gonna separate, they're gonna split, and you're gonna end up with like a greasy pool of fat, you know, at the bottom of your plate. If you have some shrimp and butter in your fridge and pasta in your pantry, that's pretty much it. Like, the parsley is optional. And this probably takes like half an hour to make. You know, obviously you could let the shrimp sit and marinate for a little bit longer, but I wouldn't go longer than like an hour, because the texture starts to get a little funky after that. But the point is, this is a super quick dish, and it's very, very delicious. I wish I had some bread laying around so that I can mop up everything, but this is a shrimp scampi. Pretty sure this is not traditionally Italian, but nevertheless, still absolutely amazing. Like and subscribe, I guess. I'm out.